Well, ladies and gentlemen, the big day has finally arrived. For the entire season, we on this channel have been posting one mock draft every single month leading up to the main event, and today is the day that the main event has finally arrived, as it is officially draft day. And later tonight, we're going to see the dreams of countless prospects come true when they hear their names called. With that being the case, this is our final NBA mock draft for 2025, officially predicting who we believe will be selected where based on everything that has gone on during the pre-draft process. Before we get into all of that though, it turns out a good amount of you watching right now aren't even subscribed to the channel, so if you enjoy the content, consider hitting the subscribe button, as not only does it help out a ton, but it also very much appreciate it. Now with that being said, let's begin. Starting with the number 1 pick in the draft, the Dallas Mavericks select Cooper Flagg from Duke. This one's all but guaranteed already, and has been since the draft lottery went down, rewarding Dallas with the pick. Cooper Flagg came into the year viewed as a top prospect in this year's class, and nothing between then and now has changed with him still locked in at the top of the board. He's an elite two-way talent standing at 6'9", with a fiery competitive drive that pushes him to work as hard as anyone, and him playing next to Anthony Davis gives the Mavericks a ridiculously strong frontcourt. Flagg has all of the tools and instincts to dominate on defense. He plays strong around the basket on offense. His three-point shot is progressively improving, and his presence on the Mavericks will make their eventual transition into the next generation of Mavericks basketball much easier with an established pillar to build around. Next, with the second pick in the draft, the San Antonio Spurs select Dylan Harper from Rutgers. The Spurs still seem like a team that could entertain a last-minute draft day trade for this pick, but if that doesn't happen, then they're still absolutely taking Dylan Harper here and not thinking twice about it. Harper's a strong-bodied point guard at 6'5", with tremendous playmaking instincts and a gift when it comes to attacking the paint. He absorbs contact well and finishes through it, he's quick with a shifty first step, and he can take a game over down the stretch scoring the ball. He will need to improve as a shooter off the dribble to reach his all-star caliber potential, but either way, he's a dangerous playmaker that can run the two-man game with Victor Wembanyama for years to come. Next, with the third pick in the draft, the Philadelphia 76ers select VJ Edgecombe from Baylor. There's also a lot of talk on the rumor mill that the Sixers could potentially trade down, but again, assuming they keep the pick, VJ would be their guy more than likely. The Sixers seem intent on running things back next year with Joel Embiid, Paul George, and Tyrese Maxey, hoping a season with better injury luck can result in the outcome they originally planned for, and with that being the case, they're going to target versatile, team-first players that have the tantalizing upside while also having the mindset to thrive in whatever role they're asked to play in the short term. Edgecombe is a ridiculously explosive athlete in the open floor, he has all defense level upside as a perimeter defender, and while his offensive game overall is a bit raw, he's flashed reason to believe in his potential as a creator in the games that he played internationally with the Bahamas and at Baylor. Next, with the fourth pick in the draft, the Charlotte Hornets select Kon Knueppel from Duke. The Hornets were the second worst offense in the league this year, mostly due to injuries, but even at full strength, they need better floor spacing, better secondary creation next to LaMelo Ball, and overall better decision makers to help the offense flow. Kon Knueppel checks all three of those boxes, and is genuinely one of the highest IQ players in the class this year. Kon's big draw is obviously his lights out shooting, being a 40% shooter from deep, but he is much more than that for sure. He's a brilliant cutter and mover off the ball, finding openings and getting himself open. He has a plethora of useful fakes and feints in his game to throw defenders off and get by them. He has a tight handle that he uses to get to his spots even without top-end athleticism, and his vision as a passer is pretty superb in a secondary role too. Next, with the fifth pick in the draft, the Utah Jazz select Trey Johnson from Texas. The Jazz have quite a difficult decision here with so many different needs and so many differing talents available, but the reason why I landed on Trey as my prediction for the pick is that he checks the most boxes in terms of what they need and overall upside as a talent. Trey led the SEC in scoring this year, putting up about 20 points per game, and he did so while knocking down 40% of his threes, which primarily came from his own creation. That level of shot making is something their backcourt is in desperate need of, and with both Jordan Clarkson and Colin Sexton having just 1 year left on their current contracts, the path to a bigger role down the line for Trey in Utah is obvious. Next, with the 6th pick in the draft, the Washington Wizards select Ace Bailey from Rutgers. Ace Bailey's slide down the draft board ends here, with the Wizards more than likely being the team most excited to take him at the top. Washington's young core is being formed with players that compete hard on defense, have a ton of versatile length, and all like to run, but they are lacking in a real go-to scoring option. Ace Bailey has made it pretty clear in his pre-draft process leading up to this point that he wants to be in a situation where he can continue to play as a featured go-to scorer in the lineup, and in Washington, he can do just that. The Wizards have strong veteran leadership with guys like Chris Middleton, Marcus Smart, and now CJ McCollum, which is exactly what Bailey needs early in his career, and on the Wizards, he wouldn't be asked to scale his shot selection back like he would in other environments. Next, with the 7th pick in the draft, the New Orleans Pelicans select Jeremiah Fears from Oklahoma. The Pelicans are reportedly very intrigued by Fears' skill set, and if he's available here, it seems like he will be the pick. The Pelicans are looking to shake things up after a horribly disappointing season, and after having traded away CJ McCollum, DeJounte Murray may be next in line on the chopping block, opening up minutes at the point guard for someone like Fears to come in and claim right away. Fears is oozing in playmaking talent as someone with the ball handling skills, speed on the ball, shiftiness, and creativity to run an offense at a high level, but he's going to require some patience in his development as he learns to play more under control and improve his efficiency. Next, with the 8th pick in the draft, the Brooklyn Nets select Khaman Maluach from Duke. Maluach is also drawing a ton of attention not only by the teams picking in this range, but other teams that may try to trade into this range, so look out for Brooklyn to potentially move this pick, but if they stay put, Maluach is the exact type of high upside swing they should be taking in their position. He's an athletic 7-footer with the size and wingspan measurables that scouts salivate over as an interior defender and rim runner on offense. He has the look of what NBA teams want from a modern day big man. He is a few years away from consistently contributing positive minutes and needs to put in a ton of work bulking up and working on his touch, but the Nets don't seem to be in a rush. Next, with the 9th pick in the draft, the Toronto Raptors select Collin Murray-Boyles from South Carolina. The Raptors are ready to return to making playoff pushes after a brief rebuilding period, and right now their roster is made up of a lot of varying wing talent, long guards, and scorers across the board, so bringing in Murray-Boyles to be the glue that holds everything together makes a lot of sense. He's one of the best defensive talents in the draft this year, with a nose for disrupting opposing offenses and making plays on the ball, and offensively, he's a smart decision maker with elite touch around the basket. He desperately needs to improve as a shooter because at 6'7", he is undersized as a big man, but overall, his floor is a lot higher than many other prospects this year in this range. Next, with the 10th pick in the draft, the Phoenix Suns select Derik Queen from Maryland. The Suns just acquired this pick in the Kevin Durant trade from Houston, and if they want to replace some of the scoring output Durant left behind, Queen could be their guy. Queen's offensive skill set is incredibly advanced for someone his age at the center position, with a tremendous face-up game where he can confidently knock down mid-range jumpers, attack the basket with a plethora of post moves, he has a very useful handle for someone his size, and he'll make the right passes. The center position also happens to be a glaring hole for this Phoenix team, with Nick Richards being their best option at the moment, so Queen could claim big minutes from day one. Next, with the 11th pick in the draft, the Portland Trail Blazers select Noa Essengue from France. Noah's stock took off over the last few months after some strong outings playing in Germany, where his team is now playing in the finals of the Bundesliga, and there's a lot to like about his upside. He's the second youngest player in the draft after Cooper Flagg, he moves very well for a 6'9" player with notable athletic prowess, and he's been a real difference maker on defense, playing against professional competition. Offensively, he's definitely very raw and will need a few years of development, but in Portland, they're putting together a young core built on the defensive side of the ball, and aren't in any rush to speed up their rebuild. Next, with the 12th pick in the draft, the Chicago Bulls select Carter Bryant from Arizona. The Bulls are an energetic young team shifting the focus to their young guys, but they desperately need help on defense, and Bryant fits in there perfectly. Carter Bryant may not have the offensive upside that most other prospects in this range have, and his collegiate stats won't stand out by any means, but he plays the 3-and-D archetype at a high level, and at the end of the lottery, getting a sure thing with a high floor isn't isn't the worst idea in the world. Next, with the 13th pick in the draft, the Atlanta Hawks select Kasparas Jakucionis from Illinois. The Hawks are saying that they are locked into keeping Trae Young at the forefront of what they do, which would actually help a lot here because the things that Jakucionis does well can successfully be utilized, more next to an elite playmaker like Trae Young anyway. Jakucionis' biggest strengths come from the fact that he is a big-bodied guard with tremendous passing instincts, and when it comes to making the right read and finding the open man, he typically makes the right decision. He's great in pick-and-roll sets and finishes well in the paint, but he needs to work on his shot creation skills and his overall perimeter shooting to improve as a scorer, and in Atlanta, he wouldn't need to be playing on the ball nearly as much, which would have exposed those weaknesses more. And finally, with the last pick of the lottery this year, the San Antonio Spurs select Joan Beringer from France. That's right, the nation of France is continuing to crank out top-end basketball prospects, and for a team like the Spurs, who are led by the greatest French prospect ever, this is a pairing I believe they may be very tempted by. Beringer has been playing in Slovenia, and this past season played a massive role in them winning the League Cup. As a center, he very well may be the best rim-protecting prospect in the class this year, and while he's quite raw offensively, he at the very least knows how to put his phenomenal physical tools to use. He's incredibly athletic and bouncy, throwing down some powerful dunks around the rim. He moves very well for a 7-footer, and the combo of he and Wembanyama as a defensive frontcourt duo would be frightening for opposing teams trying to score in the paint. And with that being said, that's all I have for you today. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and comment down below who you want your favorite team to draft tonight. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time.